This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Vorazun, we have Kenshade. And player 2, playing Artanis, we have Nicholas. So let's quickly have a look at the masteries over here. As you can see over here, this is a sub-mastery game. Both players do not have any mastery levels, so this is indeed a sub-mastery game. As you can see over here, Vorazun does not have her emergency recall, which unlocks at level 13, and no time stop as well. So the Vorazun player here is sub-level 10. Let's quickly have a look at Artanis. He seems to have a lot of his passives, and he seems to have his solar bombardment as well, so seems to be relatively almost at the level 15 there. But Vorazun is definitely a significantly lower level player here that is playing. Additionally, also I have hidden the text chat, because there is a lot of salt that comes up later on in the game, and I would like to filter that out. But this Vorazun player clearly claims to know what they are doing throughout the later course of the game. But let's have a look over here. We have 2 pylons coming down for Artanis so far. One thing to note is that Artanis does not have his upgrade that actually makes him useful, where he does not need any pylons to warp in his units. So over here you will see a lot of pylons being built for Artanis, but that should be expected. So let's have a look at the production here. Vorazun is putting down a Cybernetics core and a Forge already, still macroing up here. And Shadow Guard will be out in just in about 10 seconds, but Vorazun will need a little bit more energy before she can do that. Already we have 1 Dark Pylon down, which is part of the standard Vorazun build. And yeah, we have the 25 energy now that's come up here. And this energy should be saved up to invest into the Shadow Guard so that you can clear your expansion. As you can see over here, Artanis is already clearing up his expansion with a bunch of Zealots, but Vorazun has put down another Dark Pylon here to completely cloak her buildings. But what she's done also is she's moved that Cybernetics core outside the cloaking field. So I'm not really sure what the goal is over here. Like, if you want to have your buildings cloaked, you can, you know, put down all your structures within a Dark Pylon, but this Cybernetics core is sitting outside the Dark Pylon, so I'm not really sure what the plan is over there. We do have now a lot of production structures being made. We have 3 gateways, and we have the Warp Gate research also being researched over here. And we can see here Artanis has pretty much already completely cleared up his expansion, and he'll be ready to go. We have the first attack wave that has spawned now, and it is working its way towards the players' bases, and this is why having the Shadow Guard is important. So if that Dark Pylon was not put down, we also have another Dark Pylon being put down here, you have enough energy for the Shadow Guard, and you can use it to clear the first attack wave. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and we have a bunch of Adepts now that are making their way here, and some nice orbital strikes here does end up taking out these Adepts. It takes a total of 4 orbital strikes to take out an Adept, so unfortunately that attack wave did end up splitting up. Very nice use of the Dark Pylon over here, getting like a little bit of taking a little bit of advantage of that Dark Pylon here. Unfortunately, no emergency recall, so that does not end up saving those Zealots, but those Guardian Shell is making a little bit of a difference here. That Dark Pylon does end up getting taken out by these Adepts, but this Adept wave has been cleared up by a number of Zealots, and pretty much good to go. 1 Zealot gets moved in now, waddling slowly towards the Void Thrasher, and we have Solar Bombardment that goes down on here. Just clean up this area here and take out this Void Thrasher, because this Void Thrasher has spawned and is dealing a little bit of damage. Generally speaking, on a normal mastery game, you don't really want to use your Solar Bombardment on this Void Thrasher here, because it's relatively lightly defended. You can basically use any small army and take that Void Thrasher out. But I believe I believe that was probably the right call here. It's going to be a while before the players are going to be pushing into this next set of Void Thrashers, and I think Solar Bombardment will be up in time anyway. So yeah, I think that was the better choice here. As we can see here, we have 240 seconds. Unfortunately, because this is a sub-mastery game, the cooldown timers are not particularly accurate here. So we have, yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that 27-second cooldown there, but yeah, unfortunately, because abilities change when you are leveling through your mastery levels, it does mess a little bit with the observer interface here. So as you can see, Vorazun has cleared up her expansion now at the 7-minute and 30-second mark. The Nexus is going to come down, and Artanis has pretty much already, I believe, saturated his bases, so he's doing relatively okay here. Production-wise, we can see that Vorazun is going for attack, armor, and shield upgrades, and those upgrades have just finished up here. And Artanis is going for the charge upgrade on his Zealots with 2 Robos here. Again, I think a really good tech choice for Artanis. Very nice layout here on the pylon positioning and structures. Usually when I lay stuff out, it's just all over the place. But we now have another attack wave here, and these 2 Zealots are not going to be enough to hold this attack wave, so Artanis will need to do a little bit of you'll need to have a little bit more weapons. Over here we can see Vorazun is just focusing on a mass Dark Templar build. Vorazun already has 11 Dark Templars here. He does not seem to be interested in dealing with the units that are here, and this is an air composition, so this is Skytoss Tempest. We know it's Skytoss Tempest because there's no logo over here, which means this is a slightly older game, and at that point Protoss only had 6 compositions, and Adept Phoenix meant that this was a Skytoss Tempest composition over here. So 2 Phoenixes do end up going through here, and they will probably start harassing this mineral line if there are any observers in the vicinity. So these Phoenixes are still wondering why the base is there, and now we have an observer probably that has provided some vision over here. So I can't see. Okay, there's the observer over here. This is Amon's vision. We switch back to clear vision just a bit. Here we go. So this is back to the player's vision now. Player 1, and yeah, so we have Vorazun being completely harassed here by these Phoenixes, and Vorazun does not seem to be interested in dealing with that. If you are going for a purely ground-focused build, so if you're not interested in getting a Stargate, which might not be too wise because your Stargate provides you with your detection anyway, what you can do is build a bunch of Stalkers and take out these Phoenixes by warping in some Stalkers. So some frantic pings here from Vorazun. Vorazun decides to charge in her Dark Templars into this heavily fortified base here, and it is probably going to be okay, but unfortunately there are a lot of storms on this side. So Artanis' Guardian Shell does keep some of the Dark Templars alive, but a large number of Dark Templars do end up going down because they do not have their emergency recall ability. One of these Void Thrashers is going down, but Vorazun has just thrown away 21 Dark Templars into this enemy base here, and only the Shadow Guard seem to have survived here with because they have a little bit more HP, and they have their Shadow Fury upgrade as well. I don't believe Vorazun has that Shadow Fury upgrade. Or if she does, I do not believe she has researched it, unfortunately. And yeah, those Dark Templars have gone down permanently, and they are not coming back. A total of 21 Dark Templars have lost. Artanis has lost 4 Zealots, which is relatively efficient play here for Artanis, but Artanis has been using his calldowns. But now Artanis has gotten enough time to ramp up his economy, and we have another. Yeah, we had another dark pylon come down. Vorazun's really liking these dark pylons. Dark pylons are not very useful unless you want to use them for the recall ability and for the initial stage of the game where you want to put down your dark pylon to stop you from having to build a regular pylon so you can build up your supply. But that is pretty much it. The Dark Pylon's Dark Recall ability is what's useful. You can see over here Artanis being extremely aggressive, using these orbital strikes, keeping his army alive, and most importantly, he is conserving energy so that he will be able to use his Guardian Shield as well, his ability. As you can see here, we have a Warpin of an Observer. He is well aware that there's going to be a Dark Templar in this base here, and having that Observer is going to keep his army alive. And we have now a bunch of Immortals as well that is ready to go in, and his army starts to push through. We have a Warpin here of some more Dark Templars from Vorazun's side, wants to push into this base here as well, and again, these Dark Templars are going to get a large chunk of the aggro because those units have a higher aggro rating here. And now we have a Hybrid Dominant that's casting a Plasma Blast, instantly hits a large number of these Dark Templars here. And again, a lot of these Guardian Shields have gone up, or these Guardian Shells have gone up. One Dark Templar doesn't end up going down. He is trying to take out some of this detection. Unfortunately, Amon has a lot of observers and he has a lot of just natural detection here, and it's generally not going to make a difference. These Void Thrashers are also going to just use their ability to try and spam on these CTs, but overall relatively well handled there. I think Vorazun did end up losing 2 more Dark Templars in that engagement, which is not really too bad. Artanis has lost, unfortunately, 2 of the Immortals, 3 Dragoons here, but I think Artanis is okay. We have another attack wave that has made its way here, and Artanis is using some of the orbital strikes to take out this side. Vorazun tries to put down a bunch of cannons here to deal with these air units. Unfortunately, that is not enough. These oracles are in full Disco Inferno mode, and they are focusing down this dark pylon over here. That dark pylon does go down, removes the cloak off these buildings, and now these oracles are going to start focus firing down these Dark Templars here. Finally, a warping of Stalkers. Vorazun has realized that Stalkers can hit air and has adequate production for that. Unfortunately, these Phoenixes are relatively tanky right now, and they are just raining a lot of havoc here, and they are trying to focus down this mineral line. Artanis' Guardian Shell is keeping these probes alive though, which is kind of funny, because it means the Phoenixes are wasting their lifts on probes, while the rest of the units are able to deal damage here. We have an orbital strike that goes down to this attack wave, trying to keep this army alive, and this area will essentially be cleared. I would have preferred to have lured this attack wave into here so you could drop it onto the entire enemy defenders and the Archangel, but it's no big deal. This Archangel does end up going down, gets nice focus fire here by Artanis, and yeah, so Artanis really hasn't lost any more of his Immortals. I think maybe has lost 2 more Dragoons. Very acceptable losses here for Artanis. Vorazun has lost a total of 25 Dark Templars and 6 cannons, but funnily enough, no probes have gone down in that entire harass there. I do not know what Vorazun is doing on this side. Vorazun does not need to be there because the Archangel is already dead. I think Vorazun is trying to exact her revenge on Amon because she does end up losing some more Dark Templars in that process as well, which is again kind of inefficient. You should not be losing your army if you're just trying to flex on Amon. If you are on the back foot over here, which Vorazun definitely is. Artanis is definitely taking the driver's seat in this game and is just pushing through this enemy base here. There is a black hole that comes down. Nice positioning on that black hole. Does end up capturing a lot of these units here. Unfortunately, no focus fire down on that carrier. That carrier is a high damaging unit, so there's a little bit of a body block here from some of the Dark Templars on this side. Dragoons are kind of fat here. Again, one thing that might be nice would be to star step these Dragoons forward. So as you can see here, these Dragoons at the back are not really dealing damage, so you should be moving your entire army forward here so that all your Dragoons can actually attack here. And same thing for this Hybrid Dominator over here. But small error, not a really big deal. Vorazun does end up losing a lot more of the Dark Templars because they are getting focus fired down by a lot of these units, these carriers, these Void Rays, and these cannons over here. Vorazun is trying to take out all this detection, but there are observers as well on the map and the Void Thrashers as well. So anyway, there goes the last Void Thrasher. Vorazun has not lost a single probe in that, and that is GG.